Hello everyone, just going to do a review on this, the Kawasaki GTR1400, or as they say in the US, the Concours or Concours 1400. It's obviously a 1400cc. I'm going to put the spec up on the screen because you don't need to hear all that. This particular one is in a gorgeous metallic green. Looks like it's got big flakes on it. It's a 2011 model, and we'll just go through some of the extras that are fitted to this. I bought it originally because I wanted to look at replacing my Pan-European. So what I've done to this is I've put bar raisers on because I'm old. It's got about 2-inch raisers on it. It's got a heated seat as well. I found that the original seat was actually sloped down too far, and I'm only 5'8", so when I was leaning forwards it was pushing my bits into the tank. So this seat is actually a lot flatter, as you can see. Oops, sorry, somebody just messaged me. Yeah, the seat's a lot flatter, as you can see, and it's also heated, and the controller's just here. It also comes with heated grips as well. So it's a 6-speed. It's got an extra power socket on here too. And if anybody remembers my FJR1200 or 1300 review, have a look at this. You ready? Oops, wrong one. What do you think of that? Hey? But there's more to say about that in a bit, because at 5'8", I found that getting on and off it is a little bit of a pain with these panniers being in the way. You tend to find that the panniers get kicked, like a lot of panniers do on larger bikes. But I find I have to really tuck my leg over to get on it. So let's fire the baby up. You've got hazard warnings, obviously your engine kill. You've got all this traction control and auto brakes, or linked brakes rather. Auto brakes, that'd be fun, wouldn't it? The bike rides itself. So, talking about the screen does throw a lot of wind off you. Notice everything's flashing, but that'll go off when I'm riding. There we go. It's very easy to ride, but it does feel quite tall for what it is. I'm used to having lower bikes, and I'm fortunate, even though I am only 5'8", I do have slightly longer legs. But I am just about comfortably touching the floor on this, so it does actually feel higher than you would think. Got a gear position indicator, and you can choose from the outside temperature, what your tyre pressures are, etc. I found one of the tyre pressure gauges that's built into this, the battery had gone flat, and they're very expensive to replace, so I just replaced it with a normal valve. I don't need to know on the dash what the tyre pressures are, I can usually feel it. Plus you should be checking your tyre pressures every week anyway. 22,700 miles, which for a 7-year-old bike is only 3,000 a year, which is pretty good. The engine's very smooth. This is fitted with a Beowulf exhaust, which is an aftermarket exhaust. One of the first things that riders of these bikes do is ditch the massive exhaust that's fitted to this. It's almost like a bin. It's very heavy, it's very large. So I'm getting quite a bit of wind buffeting because the screen's down, but I find because I'm leaning forwards on this a little bit, I quite like that, because it tends to lift me off the bars a little bit. Going around corners is ever so neutral. You don't have to pull it around or fight with it in any way. The back brake on it is good for very slow speed. It doesn't have much feel at all, but the front brakes are really good. But they are linked or combined brakes, so when you put both on together and then let go of your front, your back suddenly sinks down. I'm not overly keen on linked brakes. I understand why people have ABS on bikes, because that's there if you run out of control. But with linked brakes, I want to be able to choose which brake I use. For example, if it's very, very slippery on the road, or if it's icy, then I can just use the back brake only with my clutch out, and it will keep that wheel turning until I stop. But if it is icy and I use my front brake or the linked brakes, then that front brake could lock up because there's nothing driving it, if that makes sense. So if there was an option to de-link these brakes without loads of money, then I probably would do it. Fuel injection mapping is superb on this, but when it's in eco mode, what it does, it makes it run a little bit leaner for town traffic, and it makes it a little bit more fuel efficient. Now, I do feel that the maps that you can choose on this actually do change the fuel injection settings. With the tracer that I used, I felt all that did was change the sensitivity of the throttle. But when I do put this in eco mode, I am sure it's smoother at slower speeds. The gear change is obviously very positive and very smooth, and the engine sounds beautiful. Being a 1400, I suppose you wouldn't expect it to sound anything less. And at 22,000 miles, I can see this is just being run in, really. Of course, on any of these bikes, regular servicing is very important. Every 4,000 miles or year, just drop the oil and filter. Doesn't take a lot to do. It does have ABS, traction control, which again is switchable. You can turn that off if you want to. But doing 30 miles an hour at 2,300 revs, and that is absolutely beautiful. Seat's quite firm, but it's much better than the original factory seat. So both brakes on, fingers away, and then the back brake sinks. I suppose you can get used to it, but as I say, I want to choose what brakes I'm using. The bike does feel a little top heavy compared to the Pan, but then again the Pan is a big V4 and everything's low down on it, where this is an inline 4. It's basically a ZZR 1400 engine that's been detuned more for mid-range and torque, which I would prefer. I don't want to do 190 miles an hour. Been there, done that. So we'll just open this up. Let's change the mapping. It's either eco or it's off. I'll keep eco on, actually. You just take my word for it. Eco works below 6,000 revs. The bike is limited to 154 miles an hour, I think, in the UK. But again, it's how it gets there. There's not many places you can legally or safely do 154. So that's second gear, holding it at 30. Get that screen up. There we go. So fourth gear, 50 miles an hour. I'm just going to go to top, which they call overdrive on the dash. Incredibly smooth. Nice wind blast, but I do find that when you're doing over 68 miles an hour, there's like a vortex around the screen, and it curls around and pushes you in the back slightly, pushing you forwards a little bit. That's why I normally like the screen down and a bit of chest blast. It takes the pressure off my hands. If anybody's wondering what this is, it's called a cramp buster. What you do is you rest your palm on that, and when you've got your throttle set, you can just hold the speed with your palm. It's a sort of a manual cruise control. So if you Google or if you put in eBay cramp buster, they're not expensive, and you do find that they're actually really nice for long journeys, because you can just hold it on your palm. This was an advertisement, my Cramp Buster Limited. The thing that I find is a bit of a shame for these sort of bikes is all these speed limits are coming down because of people that can't ride or drive. Unfortunately, the people that are having the accidents, these speed limits are aimed at. So when you get a bike like this that's capable of so much more, it's a little frustrating when you've got all this power and nowhere to use it. Especially me being an instructor, I should know better. I do know better, but unfortunately I'm not allowed to break the speed limit still. Okay, let's turn right here, which takes us on to Castle Bends, where I did the limit point and part of my counter steering lesson. Okay, so let's see if I can get bang on 30. These speedos are usually about 10% out. Oh, this one isn't. Okay, we'll just see what the torque's like. It's at 2000 revs in 4th gear, doing 30 miles an hour. It's beautifully smooth. We're coming to a national speed limit, or NSL, which is 60 miles an hour. It held back a little bit at 2000, but it is in eco mode. And there we go, 60 miles an hour. I mentioned eco mode, it doesn't work below 6000 revs, so it's, I don't know, doesn't it? Changes the mapping. Oh, look it up. Suspension's nice. The brakes are really good, but you do actually get a feeling from the brakes. You can hear them as well. As you're putting the brakes on, you can hear them grabbing. 2-finger braking is all you need on a bike like this. Keeping my speed down a little bit because there's horses around here. Oh, it does sound lovely, doesn't it? Here comes that very tight left-hander. A little bit of late braking. Bang, 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 crack, 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 crack. Does sound nice, doesn't it? And I'm not breaking speed limits. There we go. I'm going to turn it round and we're going to go back the other way, which makes it just as much fun on a different road. Slow speed, as I say, it's a little bit top heavy. There's no one here. Let's see what it'll do. Back brake only. Yeah, little top heavy. It's not as easy to ride slowly as some of the bikes I've been on. Let's knock this down so we get a bit of wind blast as well, because it's showing 23 degrees out here, which is 75 in other people's languages. So second gear's nice. Look around the bend, lean and roll. You probably can't hear that because I've got the screen down. And this is that double apex. You think it's opening up and then all of a sudden it tightens back again on itself. You can imagine how dangerous that would be. This pulls so cleanly and it handles absolutely stable. Beautiful. Somebody braking for the corner because they're not reading it. Get myself ready for an overtake. I'm a little close on the following, but I'm in a good overtake gear. Let's see if there's anything available. No. I ain't going now. That's a shame. Somebody doing 30 miles an hour in a 60 limit. It's just ruined my fun. Thank you. No, I'm not going to overtake you now. I don't want to. So I know it's only a short review, but just to recap on everything. Looks wise, it's beautiful. Colour, fantastic. I think this is the only colour you should have a GTR in, or a Concours in. Sorry people with different colours, but the green is faster. Electric screen goes up, screen goes down. Very effective, and you can get different screens for them. But I have heard stories of aftermarket screens that are larger potentially cracking at the mounts, and the actual mounts cracking as well. So keep your eye on that when you buy one. This particular one is actually up for sale. The only reason I'm not keeping this is because the Pan-European is just like an old pair of slippers to me. It's just that little bit more comfortable, and it's a lot slower. It doesn't handle as well as this, but I love it. I'm tempted to keep this though, but putting that with my Goldwing and my Pan and my Turbo and my GTS. The link brakes on it are just there. They're always on, but you can change how much of the link brakes kick in. You can't turn it off, but you can reduce the effect of the link brakes. So I've just got it on the minimum setting personally. Miles to the gallon, I don't know, and I don't care. I just enjoy riding these things, they're lovely. Double adjustable headlights in the fairing, so if you do take a passenger and you've got all your gear on, your camping gear, then you can knock the headlights down very easily. Just make sure my heated seats off, it's really warm, 25 degrees. Oh, this does come with a top box too. There's a lot of storage room in these. The panniers are ever so easy to come off. So here we are, we've just turned up outside my other bike shop, the new one that we've just started up. Two Counties Training Limited in Long Eaton and Long Eaton Motorcycles. I'll show you around in a minute. So, in conclusion, it's a beautiful bike. It's not been bodged up, it is as you see it. You get some people like putting loads and loads of silicone over it, but this hasn't got that. Just a few things, it's got keyless ignition. So you have to have a transponder with it within a couple of feet so that it works. This isn't actually just a switch, it's a key. So if you turn it, you can take it out and it operates your panniers. The panniers are very spacious, and also if you want to take the pannier off, literally you just pull it off. You see that there? Shaft drive, of course, fully adjustable shock absorbers, but I find that what isn't broke you don't fix, and that drops on like that, and then that locks it back in place. Job done. There we go. It's clever, isn't it? Sounds absolutely mint. Just thinking if there's anything else to tell you. I think that's it basically. Right, we'll say a quick hello to Long Eaton Motorcycles. In we come. Hello, Leo. All right, thank you. This is Leo from Two Counties, the main instructor. I've just been doing a review. This is Cam, my business partner in Long Eaton Motorcycles. Just thought we'll come and have a nice look around. What can I have next? Got the Kawasaki in for sale. Oh, right, okay. Another Pan-European look. Look at the condition of that. Beautiful. There we go. So it's up for sale. The chances are by the time some of you read this, you'll either be too far away or it'll be sold anyway. But just to let you know, it does come with a top box as well, which I haven't fitted on. But it's going up for $6,995. And I'll see you soon, people. Bye bye.